Senator from Charleston, Senator Kimpson, what purpose do you rise, sir?
Senator Yield for a brief question.
Sure, Senator.
Senator Yield. Senator Yields.
Senator, I think that is, I don't, did you know I've never smoked marijuana? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Okay.
Did you? Are you saying you haven't smoked it or you've never inhaled?
I said smoke.
Okay.
But I think I think that's a point, did you know, worthy of underscoring. What I hear you saying is there's not a leaf contemplated by this legislation. Does that mean there's no smoking of the marijuana leaf?
There's no combustible burning of leaf and inhaling, but you can take an oil and vape it. Okay, see, so there's a way of consuming the product, the medical product, through vaping. But in terms of lighting or burning leaf, and you can't even buy leaf at the dispensary level either. I mean, it's just oils, and each one of those oils, Sarah from Charleston, has to be labeled as to the ratio of THC to CBD, has to be inspected by an independent lab. I mean, we borrowed the best medical protocols that I can in those 37 states so that it's medicine, okay? So it's clearly medicine.
So the visual picture of you have is the bags that you see on TV. Are you saying they won't be bags?
No, and that was SLED's #1 request when I sat down with them. And look, in the heat of the moment yesterday, when I'm attacked, when I'm called the head of an industrial marijuana complex, I kind of get angry, and I don't think that it was appropriate for the SLED chief to have influenced policy the way that he has. That's my personal opinion, but I will say that I have the utmost respect for Mark Keel, and Chief Keel has engaged in this process. I said to him, he's not going to be for this bill, and he said that, but I said, okay, I get that, but list for me the things that you really have concerns about. And #1 in there was we don't want smoking of cannabis. We want to be able to see somebody who is smoking marijuana and know that they are doing so illegally as opposed to perhaps they're doing it for medical reasons. And you know what? It was a tough pill to swallow, but I did that because I wanted this to be a bill that had as much buy-in from all stakeholders as possible.
Well, and you've already established that this is the Compassionate Care Act. This is really not about commerce. It's not about what other states are doing. You're trying to solve the problems with people's debilitating conditions. Senator, my next question would be, how does that compare with other states? Is there smoking of medical marijuana for medical purposes in other states?
In the vast majority of those states, for instance, the state that passed it yesterday, Mississippi, allows burning of leaf. There may be a few others, some outliers, that also have prescriptions on smoking. I can get you the exact number, but I can say with confidence that the overwhelming majority of the medical marijuana laws allow cannabis to be consumed by burning it and inhaling it.
And with respect to the application, is it equally or less effective? When I think of inhalation, it seems to me to boost or to have a more powerful impact on the body.
Now you're speaking like you do have experience with it. but I will say that the criticism of taking burning leaf out of the bill was you're taking away one of the most effective ways of consuming that medicine. You're taking away to some degree the so-called entourage effect, where you have all sorts of cannabinoids, because there's 2 primary cannabinoids in cannabis, but there are over 100 different cannabinoids, and burning leaf gives you what's called that entourage effect with all those cannabinoids. And there's been some criticism that you're robbing patients of the ability to fully, get the efficacy of cannabis if you take out burning of leaf. But again, this whole process is about weighing pros and cons. And at the end of the day, politics is the art of the possible. And we made the determination, rightly or wrongly, that was something a concession we had to make to SLED in order for this bill to have the credibility it needed to pass. I want something to pass. I want to empower doctors. I want people like Margaret Richardson to be able to get their medicine legally. And so that was one of the concessions, one of the many concessions that was made along the way.
Well, it's clear that SLED, you listened to SLED, and, you know, in trying to fashion something, did you know that would be suitable to law enforcement?
And the bill's better. The bill is better because of that engagement. And look, when I talk about how we've been working on this for 7 years, I don't say that by way of a complaint necessarily, because when you have spirited opposition and when you've got opponents challenging your assumptions and when you have them looking at language and saying, have you thought about it, this consequence, you end up with a better bill. And so I think that that's been in the interest of South Carolina to have had such a spirited debate over 7 years with so many stakeholders, not just saying no, but engaging and saying, the South Carolina Medical Association gave me a list of things saying, you know what, these are some of the things we think you should consider. Same thing with Laura Hudson with the Victims Assistance Program. Same thing with Mark Keel with SLED. Same thing with social conservative groups. So,
Senator, did you know I was on that subcommittee, and I saw you have one-on-one meetings with all of the stakeholders. Yeah. Did you know that?
Yeah, and we all did. And as the senator from Colleton pointed out yesterday, you were assigned a section and engaged and came back with comments saying this is what the stakeholders are saying. Senator Bright Matthews did the same thing with law enforcement. I mean, so we had a very robust, I guess the point I would make is there was a very robust subcommittee process, not only in regard to the members themselves being engaged, but engaging the stakeholders and listening to those stakeholders.
And I guess my final question would be, when we take out smoking, the burning of leaf, is it still effective for the intended purpose of the product, which is to provide some compassionate and therapeutic benefit to the recipient?
It is. It is.
Thank you, Senator.